Welcome back again to my live stream. How are you guys doing? Hope you had a beautiful day. Today was the Big Brother Niger reunion day 4, and quite a number of things happened. Friendships were, were lost because some of these housemates decided that it was better to relate with each other from afar. And some other friendships too were mended. And they thought that maybe from time to time they could say hi to each other. There was accountability taken by some housemates who decided that it was now time for, you know, fences to be mended. And there were also some housemates that felt that, come what may, they were right in all issues. So come on in, guys, let's talk about this. I just want to do a quick sound check to see if we are live and our sound is okay. So spare me a little bit, guys. Okay, our sound is good. So welcome, guys, to my channel. Hey, beautiful people, it's me, your girl Fosti Oni, and you're welcome back again to this live stream. How are you guys doing? I hope you are having a blessed night. It's night here in Nigeria. So welcome in, guys. Let's do this. So we're going to start today's live stream by talking about the sequence of things that happened on the reunion show day 4. So Ebuka asked Midday about her friendship with Day Day. And, you know, when Ebuka asked that question, Day Day, started the explanation first. So according to Dede, guys, I'm just looking a bit at my notes because I took down notes. Yeah, hello, Divine Izuchuku. Welcome to my channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up as you comment, guys. Please, it's very important. Give this video a big thumbs up. We are just discussing on the events of things that happened today on Big Brother reunion show day 4. So Day said that she was cool with Midday, even cordial, although they are no longer close as that relationship boat has sailed. Remember, like what happened in the house. Let me just give us a quick backstory. When they got into the house, Day and Midday, were close, very, very close, thick as thieves. They were always together because the other girls in the house did not really relate with them that much. So Day and Midday were together. And when Midday was started dating Bright, and Kola was trying to, have a thing with Day, they were having that close-knit relationship. But what soured that relationship was that Midday preferred the loyalty and the friendship of the guys than her being loyal to Dede. So what Midday was doing in that instance, because Kola was quite interested in Dede, pursuing Dede with everything, Midday now became like an access that Kola had initially to Dede. So anything that Dede tells her, about how she had felt or whatever about Kola, Midday took that story back to Kola, narrating everything. So to us, the viewers watching it, we didn't really understand why somebody that you are claiming to be close and friends with will be behaving that way, sabotaging you. It looked like a sabotage as at that time. So, and Mide did quite a lot also. I think in her head she was in competition with Dede, and she did not understand why Dede was getting most of the attention from the guys. You understand? Because come on in, Nigeria is really colorists. We are really colorists here. So imagine a girl that is light skinned as Mide, and very beautiful, and in her own head she's not seeing Day Day in that light. Remember what Zita said. Zita called Mide a colorist, and to some extent is she was not entirely wrong in having that perception about Mide. So I think maybe that was what was baffling Mide, that why was Dede getting that kind of attention, and instead she could not fathom a way to bond with Dede like that. So instead she became a saboteur. Yeah, Mide became a saboteur. Guys, on this channel we call things as it is. We call things as it is. Hi Dami the Sap, welcome to my channel. So Dede said she's not close with the Mide anymore. They are no longer friends, but at least they are cordial. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up. So according to Mide said that she had apologized to Day after she got out of the house and she saw how everything happened during her media rounds. She apologized to Day, and that was the best she can do, to apologize for where she wronged her, but she cannot do more than that. So they are no longer friends like that anymore. They are no longer close like that anymore. But at least they are cordial, that when they see themselves at events, they walk up to each other, they say hi and all that. And guys, that's what life is all about, to keep it rolling. For somebody like Mide, I don't think Mide is that friend. There are some women that are pick-me women. If you are a pick-me woman, I'm sorry for using that word, but that is the best I can use for now to describe how Mide was behaving towards Dede in the house. The way she would take what her friend tells her in confidence and go out and be telling her boyfriend, telling the guy that was head on pursuing Dede. So she was behaving like a pick me. And when you're with pick me's are one of the dangerous types of women you can relate with. Except you're also a pick me yourself, then you guys can keep on doing whatever you're doing. But for Mide to have acted that way towards Dede in the house, that wasn't a nice move at all. So we call it as it is. A spade is a spade. We watched what we watched, and that's that. So Ebuka moved on and asked Mide what she thought about Culture. Remember, Mide and Culture had a really big altercation where where Mide was insulting the hell out of Culture, and Culture did not say anything. So Mide, when Ebuka asked her about the situation with her and Culture, she said that she doesn't really care about Culture, and that Culture can keep on going online and ranting, being a keyboard warrior, a Twitter warrior, and a Twitter troll. So according to her, she doesn't really care about Culture, and Culture said he doesn't even want to fight with Mide because Mide is a girl. That was why he didn't respond to her. If Mide had been his fellow man, he would have known how he would handle it, but he cannot start bantering words with Mide. So Bright Morgan, seeing that situation now, he quickly picked it up and he was now challenging Culture. That Culture, he thought that he had more. Culture, I thought you had more. I don't want to believe that after all your ranting and you being a Twitter warrior online, this is just what you're coming here to say. So Mide took it over that yes, he doesn't have the balls to face her, whatever, he can go and continue ranting online. And that was that for that situation. So concerning Big Soso and Dede, Ebuka wanted to know the situation of things there. So Big Soso said she was not sorry for addressing the issue that she had with Dede because she was looking out for her people, meaning she was fighting for collar and coin. Remember, I mentioned that Big Soso always gets herself involved in fights that does not really or necessarily start with her or belong to her. She likes inserting herself in things, and I won't really blame her because in the house, either you create highlights or you find yourself being in a highlight, then it's your prerogative to use that opportunity well so that you can be seen. Because to be honest, there are some people in this reunion show that were not really seen. Somebody like Denari, somebody like Tracy. These people held back so much, and they didn't really show their potentials enough in the house. So moving on to this, continue with this Big Soso thing. Big Soso, when this whole fish thing happened, when Ebuka exposed Dede that she was referring to these three guys, Kola, Coin, and Jason J, as her three fishes. So that's also rubbed Big Soso a wrong way. And according to Big Soso, as at that time, on what she said she did not like the way, in her own words, Dede was playing with the emotions of these guys, using them as a plaything, referring to them as fishes. So she was looking out for Dede. Then she went to meet Mide and explained that she wanted to, approach Dede and tell her her mind concerning the situation at hand. And Mide then took the thing to Dede. Mide told Dede about what Big Soso had said. And so Dede was ready to face Big Soso anytime she came in. So when Big Soso approached Dede with that, whole brewing animosity and all that, Dede did not even give her the opportunity to land very well. Dede fired back at her and told her that how was it her business, and nothing about her concerned Big Soso. So Big Soso, instead of her taking the high road and going her way, she was now attacking Dede with words, saying a lot of things. That was when she even called Dede an ashawo. So today, when Ebuka asked her about that issue, she said that she was not sorry for addressing the issue with Dede, because that is the kind of person she is. She's looking out for her friends and her people she call her friends. She will always look out for them. So she was not sorry for that. The only thing she is sorry for was the words she used, calling Dede names and all that. So when Ebuka asked Dede about the issue, Dede said that the issue is irrelevant and she doesn't want to give it her energy. So now, Thelma, seeing the opportunity to also create some highlights and points for herself, Thelma said that Big Soso liked these guys, meaning that Big Soso liked Coin and Collar. And because they were not giving her the time of the day and were chasing after Dede, she hated Dede, and that was why Big Soso attacked Dede. So Big Soso was not like, Thelma is a busybody, she just want to talk. So Thelma now told her that she learned from the best. So in that aspect, Dede and Big Soso, there's nothing there, no relationship there. They can't move past it. Like I mentioned, and I've been saying, most of these female housemates, they did not really like Dede, because Dede was in a class of her own. They couldn't understand the rave about her, because most times in most Nigerians mindset, it is the light-skinned girl who is very attractive and flashy that most people and most guys and men gravitate towards to. But whereby this is a dark-skinned woman, Dede is dark-skinned, she is slim, and her body is proportionate to her assets, her physical looks and all that. So in the girls' minds that had the other criteria, which I mentioned earlier, they did not see Dede in that light to be that beautiful enough for the way these guys were chasing after her. But most times, you cannot force people to like what they like. A man may like you based on your courage, your charisma, your composure, and Dede has all that. It may not necessarily be physical beauty. To guys, to be honest, on the first day of the launch show, when the ladies came in, I was not seeing Dede in that light. The people that were flashy to me were like Mide and the rest. But with the way Dede composed herself and her courage, she endeared to a lot of people. And she was not even, messing herself up as other housemates did in the house. So Dede is in a class of her own. I know you guys may think that she was my fave. No, she was not my fave. I don't have any fave when I'm watching the Big Brother show. I watch the show for entertainment. You understand? I watch the show with an open mind. That's why I'm able to see the flaws and the strength of every of the housemates there. You understand? So they came with a different type of script. And I believe that maybe in this coming season that will air next month, I believe that some housemates may want to take a thing or two from her book, you understand, to boost their own game. So moving on, Sultana and Coin's kiss. So that was the thing. Ebuka was asking about what that kiss meant and all whatnot. Then Coin said that he still maintained that he was playing a game with Sultana, and it kind of like a dare game or something like that, and he kissed Sultana. That's what both of them have been saying right from time. They are playing a game, they are playing a game. According to Coin, he wanted to like take the thing further to see how it will go. But when he came in again and saw Jason J with Sultana, he decided that it was not what his time anymore. Because according to Coin, he doesn't like competition. He doesn't want to start competing or fighting over a girl. So that was what Coin said, and he was not interested in being in a triangle. So that's why he withdrew and did not pursue the thing with Sultana anymore. According to Sultana, Sultana said she didn't want to hurt Coin's feelings because Coin was one of the realest ones in the house, and she did not know how the outside world would play out. So she did not want to just, lead Coin on and later hurt his feelings. So that was why she didn't continue the relationship thingy with him, and that he is an upright man. Sultana said Coin is an upright man, and he was the only one in the house that she notices. I was like, shade, shade, shade. Who is she shading now? Jason J. Guys, I mentioned the reason for this shade in my previous video, so you can go back and catch up on it so that you will understand why she was shading Jason J exactly, because Jason J doesn't take accountability. So it's just a mess. Jason J is just a mess. So moving on, Thelma, Ortega, and K Bobo. So when they got into the house, everybody was trying to make relationships, get their own allies and all that. Thelma was moving to Ortega. But according to Thelma, she said she noticed that Ortega was a little bit manipulative, and she did not like that Ortega was manipulative, trying to be a control freak. So she did not like that, and that was how she withdrew from him. According to Thelma, she liked K Bobo because K Bobo is homely, he's calm, he likes to cook, and she said why she did not pursue the relationship thing with K Bobo initially in the game was that she wanted to play a solo game, and she wanted her head to be in the game for her to give all that she can, in the game. So if she had moved into a relationship, it would have clouded her. She wouldn't have attained, the potential she wished she attained on the show. According to Thelma, she did almost everything that was on her tick box. She ticked almost all the boxes of what she wanted to give on the show, and she really made herself known. So, and she said, although she liked K Bobo initially, she was also worried that K Bobo might have been violent. In the first week, K Bobo fought with Mensan, fought with Coin. So according to Thelma, she thought that K Bobo was maybe someone that could not handle his emotions. So she did not want to pursue things with him. But when she now saw how homely and calm and how he was, cooking and doing all that, she started to like him also. But she also mentioned that she had, an issue with K Bobo when K Bobo told I think it was in Victory Capable was talking to, and told him that he liked Thelma, but Thelma is the one that came to meet him, implying that Thelma was the one that made the first approach, for something. So Thelma said that kind of rubbed her the wrong way, that even if it was true, that to her it felt unnecessary for capable to be mentioning that, that it was kind of childish and all that. So according to Thelma, she's cool with capable, they are cool with each other, although they are not dating, they are not in any relationship, but at least they are very, very cordial. So moving on to Faith and Joanna. Guys, Faith said that he saw Joanna as a, his own confidant, respectfully. So he's wanted somebody that he could call his own, somebody that would have his back in the house. Remember that Faith was almost like an outcast in that house because he was very confrontational, and most of the housemates there were, jealous of him because he was a go-getter, he was very intelligent. But Faith on his own end did not really help himself that much because he was very braggadocious, extra confident, and that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. So Faith said he needed somebody like a confidant that would have his back in the house, and Joanna was the kind of person he needed for that. That was why he gravitated towards Joanna, but he was not in love with Joanna. He did not want to date Joanna and all that. So when Ebuka asked Joanna, Joanna said she felt that she and Faith, they were just good friends. Sometimes she doesn't understand where Faith's head is, but she just believes that they are good friends and Faith is a good person. For Faith and Sultana, remember the huge issue that led to Faith's disqualification from the house. So let me just recap. Faith and Sultana were like, no, they were not really friends like that. Okay, let me just use friends lightly now. So as the show progressed, they started falling apart and all that. So what the issue that led to that altercation was because Sultana and Faith, at some point they were not talking, but when Faith did that is thing, that he was not talking to anybody in the house. You guys can remember, he was not talking to anybody in the house. The only person that could bring him out from that his mute stage was Sultana. So to some extent, Sultana was Faith's friend, and I'm using friend now very lightly. But when the issue with Sultana happened, how Faith was dragging the bucket with her, and when Sultana fell and all that, and that was a situation that people did not understand because these were people that were cordial before. So what really happened that everything got sour? And at the end of the day, the verdict came in. Faith was disqualified from the show. And Faith said, one thing I liked Faith for today, let me just mention it. Faith took accountability for his own actions, for the part that he played in the event of things. Faith took accountability, and where he needed to apologize, Faith did apologize. So he said that after what happened, he has not been able to watch that clip of that day, the events of that day. But when he took his time and watched the clip over and over again, he decided that he was wrong on some level. For him dragging the bucket with Sultana, and that it was not really, necessary, he wouldn't have allowed it to escalate to that point. So in that aspect, he took responsibility, and he apologized to Sultana and said that he wished that incident never happened. Guys, when that thing happened, I was so upset at why Faith would have allowed his emotions to becloud his judgment. Faith had a good game. And truth be told, if Faith has remained in that show, he would have given Imisi a good run for her money. Probably he might have won the show or come second. But Faith really got it going. When he got into the show, he may not have garnered enough fans. But as the show progressed, he gathered genuine people that loved him for his intelligence and all that. But Faith did not know how to manage his emotions. It was as if he was at the point of breaking and losing it. So the way he acted that day was really, really out of character. But I'm happy that he has acknowledged that he messed up, and he wished that it never happened, and he had apologized to Sultana there and then. Sultana said Faith was a genuine friend to her in the house, and she accepts his apology. And that Faith was, she didn't want to have any relationship with Faith in the house, that they were just genuine friends. Faith also seconded what she said. And Faith said he cares for people. So most times, the way he cares for people, they will other people will misconstrue it as if he's in love with them. That no, he's not in love with them. If he really cares about you, he can do stuff for you, he can go out all out for you and all that. Moving on to Faith's relationship with the guys in the house. Like I said, Faith was almost an outcast, if we're going to be honest, on that show. And sometimes it may be because of jealousy, but sometimes the person like Faith could have been fueling it. So I understand from both ends now. You understand? Faith is a perfectionist. He always wants to get things done. He's a hard worker. He believes that once he puts enough effort in a thing, he can get results from it. So not everybody is like that. And when somebody is a perfectionist, you may not really what word am I looking for now? You may not really be able to accommodate some of the flaws of other people. That's the issue with people that are perfectionists. So I understand Faith's point of view in that aspect. This is a man, remember, he's a doctor. So to some extent, he has built himself with enough discipline to handle issues. So whereby he's putting in that effort, and his team members and other people around him are not putting in that same level of effort, or putting in that same level of effort, it kind of frustrates a person that is a perfectionist. Guys, that is the truth. Now it now depends on the person and how he can manage his emotions to be able to navigate that situation. And I believe that that was where Faith was lacking it 100%. He was good, he was intelligent, but he didn't know how to really relate with people on a normal level. So it felt to the other guys as if he was lording over them. You understand? According to Bright Morgan said that he thought that Faith was an industry plant because he had a lot of audacity doing stuff and not getting punished for it. So he felt that, hey, could this guy have been maybe an industry plant, or maybe a fake housemate, or you can't really fault him for thinking that way. And K Bobo said that he liked Faith initially, but Faith did something, and that kind of rubbed him off the wrong way. That Faith was too confident earlier in the show, saying that he will win this show, and all that. So, and also, K Bobo said he was not really, how will I put this word? He was not really accommodating to a lot of people that didn't measure up in their tax. So that was what made him to start becoming a little bit wary of Faith. So according to Faith said he's a perfectionist and he's trying his best to, to work on himself to be able to be considerate to people. Now, Culture said that he thought that Faith was Big Brother's son. Remember, because of the wager and the cigarettes, and how Faith was not really punished. According to my own opinion, I felt that Faith intelligence, worked against him in the end. And why I say this is that this was the guy to production. He was the golden guy, bringing a lot of clout to the game, bringing a lot of highlights. He was the most talked about on the show. Faith really gave us a run for our money. So production did not really help him in containing his excesses. If they had given Faith a strike or even two, it would have really brought him down to earth. He would have really understood that, hey, I'm not all that. I'm not really that perfect. I need to watch it. I need to, be cautious. But no, they gave Faith a leeway to do everything. Everything he did was sacrosanct. Everything he did was right. You understand? And now it kind of fueled his ego. Guys, let's call it what it is. Let's kind of call it what it is. So it fueled his ego. And so when what happened with Sultana happened, he didn't really take it that, hey, after all, I never have a strike, so maybe at the end of the day, Biggie is going to issue me a strike. But no, what came with it? Disqualification. Disqualification, guys. So I felt that in that aspect, production did not really do Faith a good service. You understand? I felt that production did not really do Faith a good. Assuming he had been cautioned once or twice before, he wouldn't have escalated to that point. According to Faith, Faith said he blamed himself in that aspect because to him he was thinking of the tax or the house as a group. He was seeing them as a group, not knowing that the housemates were seeing themselves as individuals. And even when Big Brother told him in the diary room that, hey, this is a game, so you have to look out for yourself, he did not stop. So, assuming he had listened and watched out for himself alone, he wouldn't have gotten into the fights that he got into. Okay, like the case of the cigarette issue that he had that made culture to, fight with him then. Faith doesn't smoke. He was taking the cigarettes so that he could be able to trade it in. But come on, if he had been thinking uh, as an individual and not as a group alone, he wouldn't have had that fight with culture. And that is what it is. So although Big Brother had warned him about looking out for yourself, he still was putting himself, looking out for everybody as a group, and that got him into a lot of trouble and a lot of fight. I hope that he learns from it. So now with Faith and Emisi, this was the highlight of the show for me. Faith and Emisi. Come on, guys. Ah, Faith, like I mentioned earlier, he bore he bore his heart out. He said his piece. He started by saying that when the show started, Emisi was also like an outcast. Most people did not want to relate with Emisi because she came in, acting like uh, I don't want to be offensive now, but let me just permit me to use this word. She was low level. I don't know. She was guys, please forgive me for using this word. She was behaving like somebody that from the ghetto, and I'm using this word very lightly. It's not an insult. That's the way I can describe it. Most of these housemates are behaving as if they are high class, as if they are coming from, affluent homes. But Emisi showed herself the way she is. She came real. You understand? She came real. And these housemates could not really see her for what she was. So they were not relating with her on the same level, on the same frequency. They were not relating with her on the same frequency. So Faith, as at that time, when he saw how they were treating Emisi, he decided to make Emisi a friend. Now, Emisi reading the signs wrong. She thought that maybe Faith was coming onto her romantically. And that was what made Emisi to start, pushing herself to Faith. But according to Faith, Faith said he didn't like those things Emisi was doing to him, like trying to kiss him, trying to pin him down, trying to hold him, sabotaging his tasks, and all that, that he didn't like it. And he had told Emisi that he just wants her as a friend. He's not interested in a relationship, and she should stop being so physical with him. There's some people that are very particular about having their personal space. You understand? When somebody tells you that he likes his personal space, it is not an insult. It is not now a challenge for you to try to be breaching that. Some people are not people that like touch. So when someone tells you that, oh, I don't want that, respect people's opinions, respect people's boundaries, respect people's wishes. But Emisi did not see it that way. She kept on pushing until that friendship severed with Faith. And instead, what began to grow was a huge resentment on both parties now. A huge resentment on both parties. And that is what escalated, into most of their fights. So Faith talked about how Emisi had harassed him, sabotaged his tasks multiple times, and he also mentioned that if the roles were reversed and he was the one doing these things to Emisi, that a lot of people would have come for his head. And guys, that is just the truth. If Faith had, been the one pursuing Emisi, being so touchy with Emisi and all that, they would have even disqualified him. Remember what happened between Kemen and T-Boss. You understand? So he mentioned all that. On his own side, he then apologized for some of the hurtful words that he said to Emisi. Faith apologized. That is the point I'm giving to Faith, for taking accountability of his actions and apologizing where he felt he needed to apologize. That was a pointer, a pass mark for Faith in my own books. So Faith said he's learning to be more polite and to be more accommodating to people. As for Emisi, that girl, she can never change. Emisi was just acting like it out. And I believe maybe because she was embarrassed how Faith was saying everything, mentioning the way she had wronged him. So she was now shouting. She could not even take responsibility for her actions. She was saying, I have won the money. There is no money to be won anymore. The money is sitting in my account pretty. That she did not sexually attack him or whatever, or harass him. She was just talking and shouting. And Faith, he would just sit down composed and looking at her, and she was just ranting and ranting until Kola had to stand up and kind of calmed her down, so that she will not just go overboard again. She was even insulting Faith, that Faith is too short. Then she switched to Yoruba language that kilo walara waiting there your body, all those kind of talk, trying to demean and body shame Faith. But that is not what we are talking about here. If you say you have won the money, yeah, fine and good, there is no money to be won anymore. But at least take responsibility and at least some level of accountability for your act. Faith is not a devil. He was not all wrong. He was not the one running mad alone. No. There was something that you did to him that caused a reaction, and he mentioned it. So if she had taken some accountability, I would really understand her, and it would have been a pointer in her own credit. But she didn't. She was just shouting and said she has forgotten most of the things that happened, which I know they are all lies. Even if you have forgotten, there are still clips that can show you how you behaved with Faith. So at the end of the day, Emisi did not take any accountability. She said she has forgotten, that she doesn't care about Faith anymore and all that. So in essence, what I want to say is that I hope that the parties in this situation learn from their mistake. Emisi, if somebody tells you to respect their personal space and not to be touchy with them, even in real life now, respect that. There is something called personal space, and there's why a reason why it is called personal space. There are some people that don't like touching. There are some people that you will meet, they don't even like you to hug them. They are not huggers. You understand? Instead of hugging, they might want to just shake your hands, and that's all. So you have to just respect their wishes. You understand? That's my own 2 cents about this. What I really loved is the way Faith took accountability for his actions and the way he apologized. That is the way somebody that is reasonable supposed to behave. And the way he was also composed. Guys, let me tell you, composure is key in everything. When you are composed, the way you carry yourself, even if you're not perfect, but composure is really key. And this is where I love the way Faith and Day behaves in situations. You understand? I hope that other people learn from this. Like they say, Big Brother Bbnaija is a social experiment. As you're watching the show, watch it with an open mind. Watch it with a mind that you want to learn. If there are things that you're doing in your own personal life that are not, really good, you can learn a thing or two to be able to adjust your own character. You understand? But most people just watch it because they want to have faith, because they want to insult somebody. No, that is not the way to watch the show. If you're watching it like that, you're not going to benefit anything. That means you're just watching for entertainment value only. Watch because you want to learn something, because you want to, benefit something. And that is the way you make the most use of your time and effort. Because it is time. It's time consuming. Once this new season starts now, at least it's going to last for 72 days or more, and 24/7 a day. So it's very time consuming. If you just watch it for entertainment, at the end of the day, you side it, get a fave, this, that, and that, you will not really benefit anything. But if you're watching with an open mind, yes, you are going to be entertained. But while you're being entertained, make sure that you pick the lessons that will also better your life. So that is where I'm going to end this particular live stream. I hope you did enjoy it, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, like, subscribe to the channel. Until I see you again in another one, please guys, take care of yourself, love yourself, and be good to yourself. Bye bye guys, take care now guys. Bye. Bye guys, have a blissful night. Okay, have a blissful night guys.